I remember one in particular, a lady ripped open the door real angrily. She just turned her eyes on my father very angrily. She's like, "You forcing this young man to go out and preach?" And my dad was like, "No, no, no, no. He wants to. He wants to do it. Did I want to be there? Not really."
My name's Tanner. Was a Jehovah's Witness for a little over 18 years. I was born into it. In August, I left the church and was disfellowshipped shortly afterwards.
I attended the West Salem congregation. I was there from about 7 years old to 6 months ago when I left. I started in kindergarten. Kindergarten, first grade. I remember passing out tracts produced by Jehovah's Witnesses to my classmates. I remember them asking me, "Are these birthday invitations?" I know they weren't. Yeah, it was weird. It's weird. I remember knocking on my very first doors, trying to preach. I remember one in particular, a lady ripped open the door real angrily. She just turned her eyes on my father very angrily. She's like, "You forcing this young man to go out and preach?" And my dad was like, "No, no, no, no. He wants to. He wants to do it. Did I want to be there? Not really." But what are you going to say? An angry lady's yelling at your father. So I was like, no, no, no. I want to preach. She went on to yell at my father about how her parents were missionaries and how they dragged her all over the world, always moving, never letting her settle down, never letting her make friends. And now, as an adult, having left, that first door I knocked on with that angry lady, that still resonates with me. I remember being 12 or 13 on a camping trip with my family, and my sister was like, "I'm going to get baptized." She asked me, she was like, "Why don't you get baptized with me? We can do it together. Same day, we'll go through questions together. It'll be fun." I thought to myself, well, why not? Nothing is really stopping me from doing it, and if Lily's doing it, once she get baptized, my parents were definitely going to put the pressure on me to get baptized. So I figured, why wait? Why not just save myself the trouble and do it now? I got baptized in August when I was 13 years old. After I got baptized, everybody was giving me things to do within the congregation. I was working the soundboard, so controlling the microphones for the stage and stuff. I slowly started making my way towards what a good Bethelite would look like. The problem was things at home with my parents were not looking so nice. My dad was working 60 to 80 hour weeks. He was working 2 jobs, owned his own business, worked as a sales manager for another company. He was killing himself. And on top of that, we owned property. He was tending to the cows and building chicken coops and painting fences, and hell, he was brewing his own beer at this point. He was doing it all. He was doing an affair as well, which you add that into the mix and things start to get a little tumultuous at home. I remember the first time my dad slept on the couch was in the middle of summer after I turned 14, and us kids asked him, "Why are you sleeping on the couch?" "Well, it's hot upstairs. It's hot up in our room because it's the middle of summer. It's really hot." And we just kind of shrugged it off. But over the next month and a half, the yelling got louder and doors were getting slammed harder, and you could see the wear and tear on my mother's face more. And I remember being sat down in the living room before going to church one night and being told, "Your dad's getting disfellowshipped tonight, and we don't know what's going to happen afterwards." And so we went to meeting, and it was over, and they did the final announcements. "Your dad has been disfellowshipped as one of Jehovah's Witnesses." And my mom broke down into tears, and the rest of us kids stayed there with her while my dad walked out of the church. And I remember being surrounded by like a mob of people trying to console my mom, because the man she'd been with for 25 years left. I didn't see my father for 2 months after that. I sat and consoled my mom over a lot of that for the next few months. And then my dad showed back up after a couple months, toting the good word and saying he wants to make amends and be one of Jehovah's Witnesses again, while also filing divorce papers and blaming everything on my mom. Everything on the outside was okie dokie hunky dory. I became the spiritual head of our household as the only baptized male in the house. But internally, I was questioning a lot of things. Because for most of my life, I had been told by people that, "Oh, your dad is such a spiritual guy. He gives incredible talks. He's so well-spoken and spiritually strong. You're lucky to have that kind of role model." And they would be right if the father that they saw at meetings out in public, at gatherings, was the same father that raised me at home. But the personality that my father took when around other people was starkly different from my experience with him at home. So my confidence in anybody as an authority figure just vanished. And my motivation to continue life, my schooling, and being one of Jehovah's Witnesses as a whole became very non-existent. I fell into a really bad depression around this time. dealing with the aftermath of what my father had done to the family and what he'd done to my siblings emotionally. And I don't know that I've recovered fully from that yet.
It is difficult to comprehend what Tanner must have been going through, to have everything he was told was right in his life crumble before his eyes.
After this all transpires, and we start heading into me being 16, I met a girl in school who very quickly we would start dating. Now, Jehovah's Witnesses aren't too keen on individuals dating outside the religion, as in it's a big no-no. But I was doing exactly that because I was very lonely. So we ended up dating for 3 or 4 months. And at the end of this time period, my parents found out that I was dating a girl who was not a Jehovah's Witness. Not to mention the fact that dating at my age at 17 was a no-no anyways, because you're supposed to date to marry. So if you're not prepared to marry, you shouldn't be dating, which is ridiculous. Point is, I got caught red-handed. And so my parents had to talk to each other for once. That wasn't fun. And my mom was like, you know what? I can't deal with this tire fire right now. So your dad's going to take you, and you're going to go live with him. I had not spoken to, had a real conversation with my father in almost a year at this point. And suddenly I was packing a bag to go live with him in the indefinite future. My dad pulled me out of high school. He still owned his own business, so he put me to work at this place he works. And I did not have a phone, a computer, or heck, I did not touch an electronic device in like 3 months. And then slowly I was allowed to watch TV again, and then I was allowed to have my phone back after about 6 or 7 months. During this time period, I spent a lot of time trying to distract myself from that internal monologue. I spent a lot of time reading books and drawing and poetry. But sometimes when that wasn't available, or I couldn't do that for some reason, I didn't have a new book, or I didn't have the motivation or means to draw or write, I would just pace my room. Now, I just had a doctor's visit like a week ago. Now, when I take the test, I don't have depression, according to the test. I score a 1. 1 point, which is next to 0, the lowest you can get. So, I don't take medication anymore. I don't have those thoughts, and I don't act on them. And I honestly attribute all of that to my situation and my attitude. Because while living at my dad's, my situation was bad, and my attitude was bad. Here, my situation is great, and my attitude is I've never been happier than I have in these past couple of months, and it's showing in my mental state and in my personal life.
Tanner's story is a painful one to hear. How someone can be brought up within something, being forced to comply, all the while your family is falling apart. It speaks to his own inner strength and tenacity that he is able to discuss his experience candidly, making him all the stronger for having experienced what he did. Cults and controlling religions are a very real threat in the world we live in. So having people like Tanner speak out about what he went through is incredibly valuable. The comment section were baffled but ridiculously supportive of Tanner and his horrendous journey, saying, "I've been shunned by my Jehovah's Witness family. My cousin, your age, just got out too. You are not alone." And another commenter said, "I sure hope you're finding purpose by sharing your story. You are going to be a very important person to many, many people." As always, thanks so much for watching Happiest. If you like this video, then be sure to follow our Instagram and our TikTok pages for more eye-opening videos like this. And if you've got any videos of your own you'd like to share, be sure to send them in.